do I remember about Geneva? A bunch of things. I remember playing Frogger crossing Route 18 when Route 18 did a dog leg right over here.
And of course, Route 18 was down here, not up there, and it was very dangerous. I had to cross it every day multiple times because of living in Young Hall.
So there are a lot of changes here since I was here. Of course, Route 18 was different.
When Route 18 cut right in front here, before they completely altered the route and put this parking lot. Of course, after I graduated, they burned my house down. So
the Wiley House.
I stayed here at Wiley House, which is now this beautiful lawn.
I remember when all of this was houses, and it was student housing houses. They actually used to stick you in an old house with 4 or 5 other people and pretty much let you be.
When I was here, I was a cheerleader, and the parade for homecoming was a big deal, and it ran all the way up 7th Avenue and up Route 18 up here, and all the organizations made floats, you know, just like the Rose Parade, except no roses. It was a big deal, and all Beaver Falls turned out.
I remember sled riding down the hill behind Memorial. There's an access road, sort of a dirt path leading down to the practice field, and we would kind of borrow the trays out of Alex's.
We used to have a thing called the Big Event. They would build soapbox derby cars and race them right in front of the library. They would have hot tubs in the middle of winter. They had grease pig events.
It's like a spring event. In that area was kind of, they would be carrying flowers and everything else, and there was a maypole, which I had heard of a maypole, but I'd never seen one before, with ribbons, and they kind of weave in and out and in and out.
I was a broadcast major here at Geneva. We had the 88.3 hours of broadcasting, which was always fun. We, on our anniversary every year, would broadcast 24 hours a day. And this is amazing because the station used to turn on at 6 and off at midnight.
I got the opportunity to be a disc jockey at WGEV, and Leroy used to be one of the assistants. That's him. He used to be one of the guys that used to work on the schedule for WGEV, and we wanted to make the station and the show a little bit progressive. So we would blend Christian music and do a little bit of rapping with our songs, and Leroy was my recording rapper.
So I studied in the Geneva semester in Rome program back in the spring of 2011. Dr. Linda Szabo was our head of the program at the time. It was truly amazing. I loved the way the humanities teaching was integrated into the program and into the environment that we were in. It was just very natural to be studying classical history, Roman history, art history. We were right in the middle of that culture, such an important birthplace of Western civilization.
For me, probably the most pivotal experience that I had in Geneva College was my experience with New Song. I was going through a lot of personal things at the time, and New Song kind of took me under their wing, and I traveled with them for 2 years. I recorded CDs with them, and for me, it held me together when I felt like everything else in my world was falling apart.
But traveling with the Genevans and with New Song was such an opening experience to me, to be able to share my faith all around the country, all around the world, and to be able to continue to share it in song.
well, we met in the college choir, the Genevans, and some of what we enjoyed, of course, was touring. That's really how we got to know each other.
we went to Epcot, and that's where we were kind of hanging out. Things were starting to happen. Well, we just went back to Disney for our 25th wedding anniversary, back to Epcot, back to the same Chinese little restaurant. It all kind of started to come together. So that was really fun. The fact that we were able to tour different places like that. And I met him. He was in the cafeteria, right?
I worked in the cafeteria for 4 years to help my way through.
And I would always be looking for him, and he'd be looking for me, and he would take chocolate snacks and desserts, and he would hide them back there. And when I came through the line, he would whip out the chocolate, because the chocolate always went first.
One of my favorite memories of being at Geneva was walking around just outside of McKee Hall with my future wife and spending hours and hours talking together in the evenings. It's a beautiful little part of campus, and we just walk and talk and think about our futures and think about how we might serve the Lord and how we were being equipped to do that.
The one thing I would say to remember would be to cherish the professors that you have. Even though I graduated 8.5 years ago, I still am friends with a lot of the professors that I have. So I think it's important to develop those relationships early on and sustain them through your life, because you never know how they're going to bless you.
The people that influenced me the most here at Geneva were Dr. and Mrs. Copeland. They were Dr. Bob and Louise and Mom and Dad to me, and they made it easier for me to be here at Geneva because I was from Dover, Delaware, and far away from home. So they were excellent mentors and wonderful teachers, and I gained so much that I still use today in teaching music.
Dr. Courier in economics. I loved him. He was funny. He inspired me. And I would say David Carson in political science. He was a godly man and one of the greatest scholars I've ever met, a true scholar, because he could share, he could teach, and he tried to bring the best out from us as his students.
Dr. Adams let me borrow his Volkswagen, his little Volkswagen bus, every Wednesday afternoon to drive across the bridge. I see it right now, the Blue Bridge, to Eastport, to teach a little East Club. You know, he was just one of many, many professors who had a positive influence on my life, and they lived their faith, they proved, and I know they do today.
I absolutely loved my time at Geneva College. It was a time where I could really exercise my faith and share my faith and grow in my faith. And I believe I got a great education here.
I would want to speak to my experience in the DCP program and anybody who might be considering that, because I never thought I would finish, and it got to a point where it was the only way I could finish. And I had kids, still have them. One of them's a sophomore at Geneva now. And God provided this opportunity for me, and I was able to finish and make friendships that have lasted. I remember the physical part of it, yeah, but I remember the relationships that I built while I was here with people, and of course with my Lord. So
I have several colleges that I have degrees, etc. from, but my heart belongs to Geneva.
Yeah, I don't think that I would definitely be who I am and be where I am if it wasn't for Geneva College.
I remember being in classes like humanities, and the last 10 minutes we'd have Christian critique, where we would look at something like Renaissance art and say, what does the Bible say about this? What does God's Word say? Of course, Renaissance was all about humanism and glorifying yourself and all, and of course that's different than what the Bible says, you know, and it teaches humility. And I remember doing that in many classes, even economics, and I'm so grateful. I pray for Geneva that, you know, they would continue on that path to touch the students' hearts and minds, to always look at everything in the culture from a biblical perspective.
I'm thankful for the just the strong Bible emphasis that I got while I was here. It helped me grow as a new Christian.
There was a stability there was a certainty here, and I know later what it was. On Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. In the midst of the sinking sand of what was going on in that day and time, there was that rock of knowing Christ and making him known and seeking to express faith in him in every area of life.